Hi, my name is Jamie Bernhardt, and I was adopted from Constanța, Romania. Romania is a third world country that has suffered many hardships. Romania was under a dictator named Nicolae Ceausescu until he was executed in 1989, along with his wife Elena, after countless acts of violence and total destruction to the Romanian people. By the time I was born, Romania had only been a free country for 9 years. The country was in big trouble. There were too many they were too new to the idea of freedom and didn't know how to run a good democracy. Therefore, most everyone in the country was destitute. Since everyone was so poor, people couldn't afford kids, so whenever they had one, they'd either abort it or give it up for adoption. Because of this, the orphanages were full. There were already no money or funding for the orphanages, so 2 or 3 kids would be stuck in a single crib. There aren't many caretakers in the orphanages. Most of them didn't even care much about the kids. They would do the minimum for the paycheck. They'd get to feed their own families. Kids would live in filth. I myself would get changed maybe once a week. They would double up on diapers so that the urine and feces wouldn't seep through. We were just left to vegetate with hardly any chance of survival. It was awful. I still have nightmares about it, and flashbacks. However, something wonderful happened. I was adopted by Douglas and Karen Bernhardt. People may say, if you have the chance to abort a kid and then not give them the terrible opportunity to be in an orphanage, that's what the right thing to do is. However, in my story, that is not the case.
I am pro-life and against abortion.
I am pro-life and against abortion also. I believe there's other options for the mother, and it's not right to kill a baby.
We decided to adopt because Jamin's grandma and papa would go over to Romania, and they came home and told us that there were hundreds of babies, children that needed homes, and that Holt International in Eugene had been assigned to them. We prayed about it, and I have always wanted to adopt a child. Because I wanted to be able to give a child who didn't have a home, and to be able to love that child, because I believe that every child deserves a home. That is God's intention. As every child is born into this world, His intention is for that child to have a parent and not to be raised in an orphanage. So we decided that we had enough room in our home and in our hearts, and our 4 older children wanted to have some more siblings, and they were excited.
I believe that a child deserves a chance to live. If the option of not having an abortion is putting a child in an orphanage, as Karen said, we've witnessed some pretty sad situations in the orphanages. But they do have life, and they do have spirit. We see it when we play with them. We see it when we work with them. And who's to know that somebody still could get them and take them home, have an opportunity to live. These kids do get out of the orphanage when they grow up. And some of them do become successful. They get help, and they live a good life.
Do I feel lucky that I was adopted? Yeah, I do. There are days where sometimes I feel like I wish I was back there. When I'm having a bad day, I think about it and I miss that place. It's kind of stupid, I know, to miss a place like that, but when that's all you know, that's all you know. You want to go back.
If you're choosing abortion, or the kid's going to go to an orphanage, and that might not be a good life, there's a lot of families, people, mothers, that have kids and keep them, and their life is not good either. An orphanage isn't the only place that's bad, so but there's always that chance that something can come out of it that'll be good.
listening to people, asking to help take the child for you for a while so you could have a break. We are so quick to judge people, and yet we don't even know a quarter of the story. But yet we judge. That's what I learned the most, because I had so much judgment on me that I finally had to throw all the judgment off and just do the best I could for my children. And I had to fight for them because I was the only one that was going to. Everyone else just wanted to pass them by and not teach them in a certain way, not give them accommodations. But I had to fight for my children because they deserved an education and they deserve to have accommodations just like people do in a wheelchair. We don't know the limitations of people if we can't see them. That was my biggest thing, was I really understood that some disabilities and some hurts and things that people are dealing with you can't see. And you judge. But you would never expect a guy in a wheelchair to climb up stairs, to get up the steps without a ramp. But yet we expect children with anxiety, Tourette's, OCD, ADD, all of these things that they can't help, but we expect them to act as if they need to climb up the steps if their feet don't work. So that is really the biggest thing that my children have taught me. One of the biggest cons of adopting is that I did not get to love the children from the time that they were born. It has been extremely difficult knowing the circumstances that our three children had to live in before we got them. And I had no influence on them, and that was the hardest part. Also, the hardest part was the first night when the boys went to sleep, Jamin started thrashing and rocking himself. And that was heartbreaking because then I knew that he had not received the nurturing that every child should receive when they're a baby. There have been some hard times because we had three of them within 3 years. But I can tell you every hard time has been rewarded with how we know that if these three children of ours would have stayed in Romania and been raised in an orphanage, that they would have had no life at all. Because we go back to Romania now and serve the children who didn't get adopted. And it is not the life for a child at all. With our three children being Gypsy Romanian, they are considered trash in Romania, which means that they are not treated well at all. And even when they become adults, they're not treated well. So being able to give our three children a home where they had older siblings to love them, they had extended family to love them, they had us to love them. Jamin and Jarrett both got glasses, Jarrett got hearing aids, they got physical therapy, they got occupational therapy. They got everything that a child deserves to get in life. And they would have received none of that had they been in the orphanages. I will not lie to you. It has been very difficult times. But we've gotten through it together, and we've seen them grow, and we've seen them do well when they have chosen to be in therapy. It's still extremely sad to me, some of the abandonment issues that they still have. It's very sad to me when they believe that they're not worthy of us loving them. And I just believe that that comes from deep neglect when they were in Romania. And we just have to know, and I do know, that God had a purpose for every one of these children. And I am so.
Is abortion bad? In some cases, maybe not. But in my case, I sure as hell am grateful that I wasn't, because I have the chance to live. I think everyone deserves that opportunity that I got.